Ella arrived just as the museum opened. It was quiet, almost reverent. The building stood at the edge of a quiet plaza, all glass and stone, and the gentle hum of fountains in the distance. No grand banners, no flashing lights, just a single sign above the door that read, Museum of Time. She stepped inside and was greeted not by a receptionist, but by silence, cool air, the faint ticking of something distant and continuous. A clock perhaps, but where? The lobby was open and bright. On the wall, a quote etched into steel. Time is not what you think it is. Ella felt the words settle into her. She was handed a map by a quiet attendant, who merely nodded and pointed to a hallway lined with numbered arches. There were no instructions, no tour guides, just rooms, one for each hour. She began with room 1. It was filled with clocks. Grandfather clocks, pocket watches, sundials, digital displays, atomic meters. Timekeeping through history. The ticking was loud here, rhythmic and relentless. A metronome clicked near her ear, and she felt her breath sinking with it. Room 2 was childhood. A room full of memories. Toys from different eras. Lunchboxes. Drawings on the wall, made by children long grown. Laughter played softly through hidden speakers. There was a school desk with a note carved into the wood. I miss summer already. Ella touched the edge of the desk and smiled. Room 3, the waiting room. Chairs lined the walls. An old clock with no hands hung in the center. The only sound was the shuffle of feet and distant coughs. It felt familiar. Airport lounges. Hospital corridors. Lobbies. She sat for a while, staring at the clock. Time here didn't move, and yet, she felt it press against her like a rising tide. Room 4, the Hall of Firsts. First kisses. First steps. First heartbreaks. Audio clips played in headphones, voice memos, diary entries, whispered phone calls. Ella closed her eyes and listened. It was raining, and I was barefoot. I didn't think it would hurt this much. I remember the way her hand felt in mine. She left the room breathless. Room 5 was all about decay. Rusting tools. Faded photographs. A wedding dress yellowed with time. A sculpture made entirely from broken watches. Everything had softened, crumbled, aged. The lighting was dim, the air smelled of metal and dust. She found herself staring at a mirror that warped slowly before her, changing her reflection, from child to youth, to elder, to nothing at all. Room 6 was time and nature. Seasons played on the walls, snow melting into streams, flowers blooming and withering, leaves turning, falling, and disappearing into earth. A tree stood in the center, its roots visible beneath a glass floor. It pulsed subtly. Room 7, human time. Calendars. Routines. Schedules. Diaries. Office clocks. Bell towers. Time cards punched in and out. One wall featured a projection of a person aging minute by minute. Ella felt the structure of life pressing in. The boxed hours, the deadlines, the rush. She moved quickly to room 8. Here, time was a loop. A train station repeated its scene again and again. A woman always missing the train. A child always dropping the same toy. A man always turning his head just a second too late. Ella sat in a dark corner and watched the scenes repeat. She whispered, "How much of our life is replay?" Room 9, silence. No clocks. No motion. Just an empty white room. The absence of time. And yet Ella felt it the most here. Her pulse. Her breath. The beat of blood behind her eyes. Room 10 was titled The End. It was not dark, but golden. An hourglass poured light from one half into another. On the walls were quotes from people in their final days. Some were afraid. Some peaceful. Some had regrets. Others were ready. Ella stood there for a long time. She wrote, Time is not a line. It's a circle, a spiral, a rhythm that hums behind everything. We don't pass through time. Time passes through us. She left the museum without buying anything from the gift shop. Outside, the sun had shifted just slightly in the sky. Children were playing in the plaza. A street musician tuned his guitar. Ella looked at her watch. Then she took it off, placed it in her bag, and walked forward. Not faster. Not slower. Just present. She whispered. Thank you for reminding me how to be in it. And time, patient and invisible, moved with her.